Hello student, today we are going to start our fifth lecture of module first nuclear physics. Okay, in that our first point is beta decay. In yesterday's lecture we saw that, or our previous lecture we saw that alpha decay. Okay, in that we studied the disintegration energy of alpha decay, velocity of alpha decay, range of alpha decay. Now today we are going to start beta decay. As we know that there are three types of emission from the radioactive nucleus. Out of three, two are nothing but emission of particle, whereas third one is in the form of energy. When an electron or positron is emitted from the nucleus of radioactive particle, then corresponding decay is known as beta decay. Means what? As we studied in earlier lecture that there is a emission of there is a three types of emission. Okay, in that first two is emission of particle, whereas third one is emission of energy. Okay, and which called as gamma rays. Now what is beta decay? When an electron or positron is emitted from the nucleus of radioactive particle, then corresponding decay is known as beta decay. During beta disintegration, the mass number A is always unchanged while the atomic number Z changes by 1 unit. This means that either neutron is changed to proton or proton is changed to neutron. Means what? During beta disintegration, the mass number is always unchanged. Means what? Total number of nucleons is always changed. Means n plus z equal to a should be remains constant. If n is equal to a plus z should be remains constant, then there is only change between proton is changed to neutron and neutron is changed to proton. There are three modes of beta decay as given below. First one is negatron emission, that is electron emission, and it's called as beta decay, and in that neutron is converted to proton. Second one is positron emission, beta plus decay, and in that proton is converted to neutron. Whereas third one is orbital electron capturing, in that also proton is converted to neutron. This is above we can say that the total number of protons and neutrons remains unchanged. Means in beta decay there are three types of decay: beta minus, beta plus and electron capturing. Now why that beta decays occur? Now see that stable nucleides require approximately equal numbers of protons and neutrons. Now consider the stable nuclide carbon 12. It's composed of 6 neutron and 6 proton. For example, proton have a positive charge, hence within a nuclide with many protons, there are large repulsive forces between protons arising from the Coulomb force. Now, means what? See here, the stable nuclide required the equal number of protons and neutrons. Now, as we know, the carbon C12, what is happening for carbon C12? Proton number is exactly equal to neutron number. But as already neutron is neutral in charge, but proton have positive charge. That's why what happened, due to Coulomb repulsive force, that Coulomb repulsive force is trying to separate that protons from one another, and at that time the neutrons within a nuclide plays an essential role in stabilizing nuclides. Means what? As the proton number is increasing, there we should have to increase neutron number also, and then only that nuclide can be stable. See here our next point. With increase in atomic number, even greater number of neutrons are required to obtain stability, as I explained earlier. The heaviest stable element, lead Pb, has many more neutrons than proton. See here, Pb206 has Z is equal to 82 and N is equal to 124. Means what? As Z is equal to 82 is very large number. Okay. Means that there should be very strong Coulomb repulsive force. And that force is trying to separate that protons in that nuclide. Now, to stabilize that or to control that Coulomb repulsive force, we should have to increase neutron number. Okay, and that's why here neutron number is very much greater than that of the proton number. Our next point is that neutron number increases along the line of beta stability at a faster than atomic number. The line of beta stability follows a particular curve of neutron-proton ratio corresponding to the most stable nuclide. Means what? See here, the number of neutron increases along the line of beta stability. As we discussed in above point that as proton number is increases, there is a large amount Coulomb repulsive force. To balance this Coulomb repulsive force, we increase neutron number, and due to that of increasing neutron number, that nuclide become stable. Means what? In the stability curve, the neutron number should be increases, okay, than the atomic number. See here, the line of beta stability follows a particular curve of neutron-proton ratio corresponding to the most stable nuclide. Means what? For getting the most stable nuclide, as proton number is increases, there should the increasing large number of neutrons, and that's why only stability curves can occur. On one side of the value of stability, this ratio is small. Means what? Which ratio? Neutron to proton ratio is small, corresponding to an excess of protons over neutrons in the nuclide. Means neutron to proton ratio is small for one side, and these nuclides tend to the unstable to beta plus decay. Means what? When neutron to proton ratio is small, then there is a beta plus decay, and when there is a proton to neutron ratio is much more, then there is a beta minus decay. Now see here in the graph, we can explain easily. On the one side of the valley of stability, this ratio is small, corresponding to an excess of proton over neutrons in the nuclide. These nuclides tend to be unstable to beta plus decay or electron capturing, since such decay converts a proton to neutron. Means what? As there is a protons over neutrons, excess of protons over neutrons, means as protons is greater than neutrons, there should be beta plus decay, and in that beta plus decay, proton is converted to neutron. Now, the decay serves to move the nuclides towards a more stable neutron-proton ratio. On the other side of the value of stability, this ratio is large. Okay, means what? Neutron to proton ratio is large, means that there is a large number of neutrons. These nuclides tends to be unstable to beta minus decay. Such decay converts neutrons to protons on this side of the valley of stability, beta minus decay. Now, see here, in this graph, up to proton number 20 and neutron number 20, means here what happened? There is a stability curve is increases diagonally, okay, diagonally from up to this. What happened up to this? See here, blue dots are beta minus decay, whereas B plus is a green color is a B plus. Now what happened? In the B plus, neutron number is greater than, okay, in the B plus in the B plus proton number is greater than neutron number, and that's why here beta plus decay. But what happened in beta minus decay? See here, in the beta minus decay, as we can easily see that neutron number is greater than proton number. Understand everyone? Okay, from the graph we can easily see that when there is a proton number is greater than neutron number, then there is a beta plus emission, and when there is a neutron number is greater than proton number, then there is beta minus decay. Okay. Now see here, beta minus decay. Beta minus decay. In beta minus decay, as we occur due to the transformation of a neutron into proton inside the nucleus with the emission of an electron and antineutrino, which is an antiparticle of neutrino, just positron is an antiparticle of electron. Means what? In beta minus decay, neutron is converted to proton with the emission of electron plus antiparticle antineutron. Okay, antineutrino. See here, one reaction is there, in that antineutrino is comes out and electron is also emitted. Carbon 14 and nitrogen 14. Now, as we know that the carbon 14 is nothing but the isotope of carbon which is unstable. Okay, in that proton number is 6 whereas neutron number is 8. Means what? Neutron number is greater than proton number, and that's why the neutron is converted to proton and it become nitrogen 7 and 14. Okay, understand everyone? See here, beta plus decay. In beta plus decay occurs due to the reverse transformation of a proton into neutron inside the nucleus with emission of an positron and neutrino. Now, in beta plus decay, proton is converted to neutron and it positron and neutrino is emitted. Now see, carbon 10 is an also isotope of an carbon. Means here C6 means Z is equal to 6 and mass number is 10. From this, proton number is greater than neutron number. Okay, proton number is 6 whereas neutron number is just 4. Means there is a conversion of proton to neutron. When proton is converted to neutron, then what? Then the carbon's atomic number or Z changes to 5 and atomic number mass number is constant 10, means it's converted to boron 10. Now in beta spectrum neutrino hypothesis is there. Okay, this is very much important point in that topic. Okay, in this topic. Now see here, as we studied first in our earlier lecture, there is alpha decay. Okay, as we studied the spectrum of that alpha decay, we see that that spectra of alpha decay is discrete in nature. Similarly, as we studied the gamma ray spectra, that is also in discrete in nature. Means we can expect that the beta decay spectrum is also maybe occur in the form of discrete state or discrete nature. But what happened when we going to study or when we studied that beta spectra, we see that beta spectra is in the continuous distribution. Means what? That the continuous distribution of the beta energy is contrary to the our expectation. Okay, as we expect like that of alpha and gamma ray spectra. That is one contradictory point from the beta spectra. Next one is that when beta is a apparent failure of the principle of conservation of angular momentum. Now, see here, we know that the proton and neutron constituting the nucleus of an atom. Okay, everyone knows that proton and neutrons are constituting the nucleus of an atom. Have intrinsic spin angular momentum S is equal to 1 half in unit of h cross. If total number of nucleons is even, then total spin angular momentum of the nucleus is S is equal to summation or SI is either 0 or integral. Okay, and if A is odd, then S will be half odd integral. Everyone knows this. Okay, everyone know this, that when spin, when atomic number or when A is even, then what happen? As every nucleon consists and S is equal to 1 half and A is equal to even number, let us consider A is equal to 2, okay, and S is equal to half. Then there is addition of 2 half, okay, 1 half, 1 half, it will give 1. Understand everyone? Like that, if A is even, then S is either 0 or integral, but when A is odd, and then S will be half odd integral. Okay. Now, in addition, the nucleons may have orbital angular momentum L, which can only be the integral multiple of h cross, since the total angular momentum of nucleus, that is nuclear spin, capital I is equal to L plus S, the value of I is integral or half odd integral in units of h cross, depending on whether the number of nucleons A in the nucleus is even or odd. Okay, means what? The total nuclear spin is just depends on the total mass number or total number of nucleons in the nucleus is even or odd. Now, for example, if A is even and I is integral or 0, okay, in the beta disintegration process, since A is remains unchanged, okay, means what? If A is even, I is integral or 0, that is in beta disintegration process, since as we discussed earlier that in beta disintegration process E is remains unchanged, only change in the neutron to proton numbers, okay, means what? There should be I also remains unchanged, okay. Now, but what happen? I does not change, but what happen when there is a emission of the electron from the nucleus? It can carry away a half odd integral unit of angular momentum, since the orbital angular momentum change. Means what? See here, this is a very important topic. Now, if as we say that A is always constant in the beta disintegration, if A is always constant, that nuclear spin I also should be always remains constant. But what happen? As we say that there is emission of electron, okay, there is, when there is emission of electron, then the electron, then that an electron emit with the momentum 1 half, okay, then there should be change in that actually total angular momentum of that nucleus, okay, and means that when there is emission of that electron with its intrinsic spin 1 half, then there should be change in the total spin of that nucleus. Means what? This is also contradict the statement made above that in the beta disintegration process I should not change. Okay, and see here, from that about 2 points, means what? Which point? First one is that the energy distribution of beta disintegration is constant, and second one is that the in beta disintegration I remains unchanged. Okay, and from these two contradiction, W. Pauli introduced the new particle and which is named as neutrino. Okay, understand everyone? See here, to explain this contradiction, W. Pauli in 1930 proposed that at the time of beta decay of a nucleus, a hitherto unobserved second particle, means what? he proposed that there should be also and one particle emitted with that an electron, then and then only our contradiction will be solved. Now what happened, he just proposed that unobserved second particle as neutrino. Okay, now see that, consider that the neutrino has an energy E nu is equal to Em minus E beta, whereas Em is the maximum beta energy, so that the total energy of the two particles is equal to the maximum beta energy Em. When the electron is emitted with zero kinetic energy, the second particle is emitted with maximum energy. Means what? When the E beta means what? Energy of electron emitted. Okay. When the energy of that emitted electron E beta is 0, then the energy of that second particle, which is named as neutrino, the energy of that neutrino is exactly equal to maximum energy Em. Okay. On the other hand, when the electron is emitted with energy Em, then the neutrino E nu energy is equal to 0. Then the neutrino energy will be 0. Now see here, we have neglected the energy of recoil nucleus undergoing beta decay since it is much heavier than the particles emitted. Obviously, here we neglect the recoil nucleus energy because it is much heavier than that particles emitted. This new particle proposed by Pauli has been named the neutrino. It must have such physical properties. Here we just give the physical properties of that neutrino. First one is that neutrino must be electrically neutral, so that the only change in the charge of nucleus during beta decay is due to the emission of electron or positron or due to capture of an electron. Means what? The neutrino should be electrically neutral, because as there is a change during that nucleus of beta decay is only that of emission of that electron and positron. Okay, means there should be no change due to the that neutrino. That's why neutron is electrically neutral. We consider that property. Now second one is the mass of that neutrino should be 0 or nearly so. This follows from the fact that maximum energy Em of the emitted electron is equal to the mass energy difference between parent and product nuclei less the rest energy of electron. If neutrino had a finite mass, then its energy must also be subtracted to get Em. Now, why we are considering that the mass of neutrino should be 0? Because as we see that when there is a emission of electron, the energy of that emission of electron is nothing but the difference between the parent nuclear energy and that product nuclear energy, and that is less than the rest mass energy of that electron. Means the difference between parent and daughter nuclei energy difference is also less than that of rest mass energy. But if we consider that neutrino has mass, then we should also subtract that mass to get the maximum energy. Okay, that's why we are considering here the neutrino should be the mass 0. Now we consider here the neutrino should be spin 1/2. As we see that electron have spin 1/2, everyone knows that electron spin is 1/2. Then to make the conservation of angular momentum in that reaction or in the decay process, as we written above, to balance that angular momentum to the both side, we consider that neutrino should be 1/2 spin. As we discussed in the first one is beta minus, what happened, proton is converted to neutron with electron emission plus antineutrino. Means what? As neutrino has intrinsic spin 1/2, then antineutrino should have the spin minus half. Okay, means what? Up and means there is a conservation of total angular momentum. That's why we consider that the intrinsic spin of neutrino should be 1/2. Understand, student? Okay, and the last one is the beta spectrum. Okay, this is the diagram of beta spectrum. In that we can see that the beta spectrum give the continuous distribution of energy, and from this, actually from that factor also we are studying that neutrino hypothesis. That is one contradiction. Okay, means what? In today's lecture we saw that the beta decay. Okay, why beta decay is occur, beta minus beta plus decay, and the neutrino hypothesis.